All right, Sistas fans. So I believe this is my first post-season or series premiere episode discussion kind of video, and I was. You all know how it was leading up to the premiere of this series. Kind of like Greenleaf is like, ooh. I mean, I got some day oneers who've been watching Greenleaf for the first 3 seasons, so I'm nervous about doing reviews. But now I've gotten into the mix. Yeah, most of the time they're late, but I do them, and I do them well. But with Sistas, it's like, okay, this is a female-driven show. What do I have to bring to the table in regards to conversation? And honestly, I think this video is a good discussion. I think I only have about 2 sister videos to do after the episode last week. Both of them have to do with Andi. And yeah, this question is she a good woman? Now, it seems to me, honestly, maybe I said the question backwards. It seems like, within the group itself you have, and once again, I want to try to name the characters without looking at my notes because I think that's cheating. Andi, Danny, Sabrina, and Karen. Karen is the one who's the guy at the airport, the one that helped with the deposit but hadn't helped on rent for 3 years. Danny is the one who works at the airport, who's the loud, outspoken one. Sabrina is the one who works at the bank, and then Andi works at the law firm. I think I got that right. But in any case, she's involved with Gary. I think the name was Gary. Okay, I got to check the notes because I can't talk about this. Oh, I was right. Oh, dang, I had this right. Danny, Karen, Sabrina, Andi, Gary. Boom. I knew the characters. The only character I didn't know was the one dude that Karen was involved with, and his name, looking at the notes, is Zach. Okay, so anyway, the point of this video is to ask the question, is Andi a good woman? Because based off the initial episode where we get to know the characters, Danny is like the fun, I think she's like the tough love person of the group. Sabrina kind of seems in the middle, isn't too over the top, a little bit reserved, but like, that's good. Karen seems to be like I don't know that. Didn't they say Karen's like 36 and she does not look 36 at all? So I take it that she's kind of like the younger one of the group. Andi seems like the all American girl, if you will. Like, she's like the what's the way to put it? Crap. Like, if she's like the Red Ranger. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, look, this series is new. I'm still trying to find my footing with it. But based off these characters, Andi seems like a very good person in regards to being well at her job and in an environment where she really isn't well wanted in the position that she's been given, because she's constantly reminded of how she's being, look, we gambled with you, and do you need me to come in there with this client and this and that? Because, your performance is a reflection of the entire office, especially me, because I was the one that vouched for you. And she literally killed it. She seems to be well liked by her entire friend group. But at the end of the day, is she, a good woman because she's messing around with a married man who has children? That's the point of this video. Is Andi a good woman? But then again, by the time I get to editing, I might say good person. I don't know. I think she's a good person, but then again, a good woman. But then again, a man could be in the same situation that Andi's in. So would that make him a good man or a good person? You know what? Debate that in the comments. But the reason I want to get into this video is, if you follow my If Loving You Is Wrong videos, and if you don't, what's wrong with you? But then again, you could be watching Sisters since it's a BET series, and you don't have the own network, so you never watch If Loving You Is Wrong. You get a pass. But for those of you who are aware of If Loving You Is Wrong, and the fact that I watch it, and the fact that I love me some Alex, despite everything that she's done on this series, I did an entire video talking about why I love Alex and how that related to a situation in my real life that's very similar to what she's been going through on If Loving You Is Wrong. But let me say that it does not involve sex or a child or someone who's married. I digress. With Andi, it's like, I think that what Tyler Perry does with KJ Smith's character, who is very awesome. Follow her on Twitter and Instagram. Is the fact that you can have a woman who's kind of like at the top of her game professionally, has a caring, close knit group of sisters, but at the same time, the area in her life that she's struggling with is her romantic life. And to be completely honest, it just goes to show that you can be very smart and very dumb at the same time. And what I mean by dumb is you can be excelling in all areas of your life aside from your love life, because while you could just destroy your opposition in the courtroom, when it comes to the person you're sharing a bed with, you're being, blindsided and oblivious to signs that point in the direction of this person probably isn't the one. I mean, what was it? Hey, 6 months ago, you said you were going to leave your wife. And like 4 months ago, into that 6, you said you would be moving out, but you're not. And now on your birthday, when he was supposed to propose, he's not. And now he's asking you for even more time to leave his wife. So Andi's in a situation where, yeah, it is questionable about her morals and values as a person, because I remember, am I the only one where you go on Instagram and it's like, you go through stories? Sometimes like you don't skim, but you literally just open up the stories, you put your phone down because you're doing something else, and it automatically goes through people's stories, and you kind of feel like a creep when you see a story that's been up for 3 seconds, but it's like, I can't help it. It's the first one that popped up. It ain't my fault. So it's like, I saw this quote that I forgot who posted it, because honestly, I wasn't paying attention, but it's something that I've actually seen and heard a few times before. Your soulmate isn't someone else's partner. And that was some heavy stuff. But at the same time, there are a lot of stories where people who have been married or together for a while have said, I was dating someone else at the time. I was engaged to someone else at the time, or I was in a relationship. I was married and then it ended and then I got with so-and-so, and that's our love story. I'm kind of iffy on that. Like, I'm not a home wrecker type. Let me just put it out there. But at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, not everybody follows the same rules when it comes to love and relationships. Could explain why I'm still single. It just goes to the whole and again, being that this is a sister show, I think that it's very healthy as a guy to have opinions on this thing. If any guys are watching this, let me know in the comments. I know my viewership on the channel is like 78% female and about 22% male. So for the few men who might be watching this, why is it that we want what we can't have? That's the one thing I just hate about being a guy when it comes to feelings. It's like, why do I find myself like, again, I don't act upon these feelings, but why do I find myself attracted and I click with women who are already taken? And for the most part, most of these women are like people I knew back in college and whatnot. So we've been friends for a while, even before they got hitched or whatever the situation is. Like, why do I have such strong connections to them, yet when it comes to a complete stranger, it's like there's no magic whatsoever? And I hate that. But then it's like, oh man, I wish I could have so-and-so, but nah, she's already taken. So it's like, I got to find me a girl like that, but then you can't. So for the women watching, let me know, have you ever been in situations like that where you see your partner / soulmate in someone who's already taken, and then you're hanging on to the flimsy promise of, oh, my wife, my girlfriend, my fiance, whatever the situation is, I'll leave them to be with you? Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't it a situation where it's like, oh, Gary comes over in the middle of the night, like at 4 a.m. or whatever, then he leaves in the morning to take his kids to school, and he goes to the gym and stuff like that. So it's like you're caught up in the moment because it's, pure bliss and excitement, yet you really aren't seeing it for what it is. So by allowing yourself to pursue a temporary dose of ecstasy, you really are preventing yourself from experiencing a lifetime of, I don't really know the counter to ecstasy, or like what's stronger than that. I don't really know much about drugs and whatnot, so I don't even know why I said ecstasy. It just felt like the right word in the moment. You know what I mean? Just like with Andi, her and Gary seems right in the moment. But in terms of a lifetime, who's her right partner? I don't know. And then we got karma when it comes to Jasmine, but that's going to be its own separate video. Honestly, I think we all make bad choices sometimes, because to be completely honest, it's like, I don't think that Andi's well, being a participant in an affair, man, this is hard. This is a very hard subject to talk about. I feel like she definitely knows better, but I really hope that as the series goes on, we get more intel about how these two even began to hook up to begin with. I think that when it comes down to it, does the act of continuously be, I mean, it's one thing to have like a one night stand and, you know, get excited to see Gary again, but then you find out he's married, as opposed, and cut it off, as opposed to knowing he's a married man and yet continuing to engage in those sexual activities and whatnot. I think that it may diminish her at her character, but overall she's still a good person. I don't know how to put it. It's like, is the person, I guess the question is the person who's involved in a marriage / relationship more responsible for an affair than the person that they're involved with? Both of their hands are dirty. Like, literally, I hope he washed his hands before he handed her that cupcake, which looked delicious, by the way. But it's one of those situations where I really do find it hard to determine what side of the fence I'm on. And like, is Andi, you know, a good woman? I mean, a good person because she's great at her job. She seems like a great friend to her friend group and everything. She seems kind to people. But when it comes to being a woman in regards to her love life, is she not so much of a good woman because of the fact that she's involved with a known married man? And as a result of that, karma is about to bite her in the hiney because the wife of the man that she's involved with possibly wants to take Gary for everything he's got. So can you imagine that after hearing from the one client who got 20 million in a house, Jasmine is recommended to Andi by this woman. So now it's like, hey, I heard you can, like, you know, work miracles in the courtroom. So maybe you can do the same for me in order to, you know, get me out of this marriage that has been going south for quite a while. So imagine if, let's say, if Andi doesn't take the case and then another person in the law firm takes it, and because of that, Gary loses it all. What are they going to do now? It's like, hey, baby, I lost everything, but I still got you, right? Right? No, you better run away. Run away now. Run. So with that being said, I'm going to be completely honest. But going into this video, I did not know how long it was going to go. I didn't know what side to take. But I think that, you know, given the fact that this made me think about a few things myself, I think this is actually a pretty good show to talk about. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think because Andi's involved with a married person that it makes her any less of a good woman or person? Or, you know, again, since the channel has mostly women on it, I feel like you might know where I'm going with this. And I hope in the comments you can like take what I said in the video that you can pretty much understand from my rambling and run with it and let me know your thoughts. So thanks so much for tuning in. Once again, follow KJ Smith on social media. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're trying to hit 94,000 subscribers before the end of the month, and I will talk to you all later.